Earlier today, I launched this challenge on Twitter, and now I'll be showing you a solution for this challenge. So let's get started. We have a 5 by 5 grid. So this means we start with the number of items per dimension, and that's going to be 5 because it's a 5 by 5 grid. And then the total number is n times n. Okay, now we just loop through everything. And we create those items. So now let's say we have item and we give it a background, and we also give it a border radius 50% because we want everything to be round, and we make the body display grid, and we do a grid template. Let's set a few things. So we have a diameter, let's say 3 and we have, actually just do grid here, template, a repeat, and here we'll be setting style. So on the root we have the number per dimension, that's the n. So here we have that custom property we've passed to the CSS and that diameter. And here for the grid we have that template slash template. Okay, so now we have our grid. Next thing is let's create a grid gap. And let's say this is going to be 1/4 of the diameter, so this should do it. Okay, so now we have our nice grid. Next step is to actually put some color in there, and we'll be doing this. In order to do this, we'll be needing to set a few custom properties and pass them to the CSS. So for I, from actually we're going to make it from 1 here, and set the defaults here. So I by default is 0, j by default is 0, and here I smaller than n, and keep incrementing it. Okay, here we set nth of type, so every nth element with offset, and the offset is I+1. Here I set the j to the I. Okay, now for the second one, we don't have this because it's not repetition, it's all in the offsets, so it's n times I, and here we set the I custom property. Okay, so now that we've done this, I don't think I do anything else for the structure. I'll just leave it like this. And I go here and I'll set a custom property because it's easier to just compute this from the very beginning. So this is going to see how I deal with things diagonally. So this is going to be an I plus j, and let's see by what I divide this. So let's go back to the previous thing, and as you can see I have 5 different distinct colors on the first row, and then I have another color, this orange, and then on the third row I add that color, on the fourth row I add that color, on the last row it's the same color from there. So in total I have the number of colors n, and the number of colors, I keep adding the number minus the first row minus the last row, so that's going to be n plus n minus 2 colors in total. So that's going to be 2n minus 2, so that's 2 times n minus 1. So I need to divide with 2 times n minus 1, but instead of dividing by 2 I can just multiply with 0.5 and I move that in front, and I just divide with n plus 1. So when I move here I just have n minus 1, sorry, and here I multiply with 0.5. Okay, and now let's set this background as an HSL value, sorry, HSL, and I have a calc, and this is k times 360, and just some random saturation and lightness values, they don't really matter. Let's also set a background on the body, and just so that we have better contrast. Okay, so now that we've done this, let's see. We actually want to have a yellow thing in the middle, and we want to go from purple to blue to, so the other way. So going the other way, it means I reverse the sign there. And of course, I want to start with that kind of purple in the corner. So that means I do an offset. I don't know, let's try a bit random offset. So that's going to be let's think. That's going to be 2 times 306, no, 0.5 times 360 over, let's see, does that work? And it's going to be, oh no, it's something like that. Okay, not quite. Let's adjust it a bit more. 1.2, I guess, something like this. Yeah, this looks good. So this is like a correction factor, because hues don't exactly work like that, because we also have to take into consideration the saturation and the lightness. So yeah, this is it for the color grid, and that's very little code, as you can probably see. So I have here 3 declarations, 4 more here, so that's 7 in total, and we have 4 here, 4 here, 8, and 3 more here, so we have 18 declarations in total. Now, something that I want to do is clip that thing. So let's create a function get points. And we do this because we don't have a path function for clip path. So if we use clip path, we need to approximate the path with polygon points. So here we're going to have a precision, which is 20 by default. And we compute total number of points, which is going to be twice the precision. Then we compute the base angle, and this is 360 degrees over this total number of points. We also create an empty list of points, which will be returning at the end. So return, and we're going to interpolate it just in case. I'm not sure if interpolating it is really needed. So for I from 0 all the way up to n. Actually, first let me show you all the way up to precision. So all the way up to precision, first off we have a current angle, which is I times the base angle, and we don't want to start from the right as it is the default in this case. We want to start from the top, so that means going 90 degrees in the negative direction. So that's minus 90 degrees. Okay, next the x is 50% times 1 minus cosine of the current angle. Okay, and by the way, this thing right here is not going to work without compass, so we'll be needing to import compass, sine. Okay, import compass. So now we add to the list of points x and y. Okay, so let's see. That should work. Now let's do clip path polygon get points, and this should give me half. Okay, so okay, plus, sorry, I don't know why I use minus there, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I've done this. Now I need to, if I want to complete the circle, I just go all the way up to n, and that just completes the circle. And let me show you something. This is a more rough approximation. As you can see, I get an octagon this way. So with a better approximation, I can introduce a factor here. So if I is smaller than precision, then I use a factor of 1. Otherwise, I use a factor of 0.7. And as you can see, it's more, let's change the precision to something higher, so it looks more roundish. As you can see, it's a bit squished, and the smaller it gets, and I can get something like 0.2. So what I'll animate is that factor right there. But it's going to be two different factors, because it's one factor before it gets to the bottom point, and it's one factor after it passes the bottom point. So I have two custom properties that I'll be animating. So I will be using this, but this is going to be 0 and 1. And this will be inside. I'll have a custom property, which is a factor f, and then I need to interpolate this number right here. I also need to interpolate the cosine and put everything inside the calc. So this should do it. Now let's set the first factor to 1, S0, sorry, S0 to 1, S1, set it to 1, and in this case we have the full circle. But if we set the second one to something like 0.7, you'll see it's, okay, what's happening? It's not working. Oh, F, not S. Factor. Okay, so now you can see it's more squished. Let's return to the better precision of 20. So now they actually look round. As you can see, now it's 0.2 and they look even more squished. And if I change the sign and I get on the other side, as you can see, it goes like this, and I can have something like 0.7, and it's like that. And if I have here 1, and here I have 0.5, as you can see, it goes like this, minus 0.5, it goes the other way. So yeah, basically, this is what I'll be doing. So I'll be taking these custom properties and animating them. But in order to animate them, I need to first register them. So CSS, register property. And one thing I need to tell you about this, due to a recent change, inherit needs to be explicitly specified in this thing. So I can't just specify the name, the syntax, and the initial value. I need to specify the inherits. So yeah. The first factor, syntax, that's going to be number, Bach. Initial, that's going to be, I'll be setting it to -1. Inherits, it doesn't even matter, it can be false here, it doesn't even matter. And then I set for the second one, it's exactly the same, I just changed that. So I've registered these two properties. And now I'll have the first one. That's going to be 0 and 50%. It's going to be 1. Okay. And then the second one. Just change it to 1 right there, and this is not going to be on. Okay. Now I'll have animation. And animation name. This should be working, except for some reason it isn't. Oh, I've set them to 1 right here, so yeah, no wonder it isn't working. Okay, so let's see how this animation looks. Okay, I'm getting there, but they're all animating at the same time, and that's not what I want. So I'll just be setting an animation duration here. Let's say 2 seconds or something like that. Actually, leave it at 3 seconds. Okay. Sorry about the trucks. Okay. Let's do this animation duration easing out calc. Now I'll be using the K times this. Let's see. Okay, is this the proper kind of delay? So I think it's going the other way. Yeah, it's going the other way. So oops, sorry. It's going the other way. That's K minus 1. Okay, and I can do better with this easing. So let's see. I can take this function right here because it's a better kind of easing out. Just use that one. I can do something like this. I can do an X, make it 0.35, and here inside this function I use that X, and then I use 1 minus X, and I can have a proper kind of control over this. So yeah. Now something else I want to do is place content center. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I can just, you know, make the body full height, put everything right in the middle, but that's just pretty fine stuff, and this is the basic idea that I wanted to show you. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have and you want me to be able to do more stuff in the future, please consider supporting my work. At the moment, donations are suspended, but you can make this kitty very happy by getting her something off her Amazon wishlist. The links are going to be in the description. Or you can at least share this to show the world what can be done with CSS these days, because honestly, I think it's pretty damn cool. In any event, thanks for watching.